Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Doctor. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. Hope all of you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Today, we're going to be talking about everything related to Glaciella and whether or not you should be looking to use her or pull for her. Now, I do have to give you guys a warning here. Glaciella is probably my #1 hyped waifu in forever. I know Ildira was a big deal for me. She became a big deal because I never pulled her. Glaciella, I have been building my composition literally for her to come out. So I am extremely excited, and I'm going to try and be as unbiased as possible in her review. To start off, she is a water element. She has movement 3, jump 1. Primary job is going to be Valkyrie with subjob Monk and Ninja. Her primary weapon is Spear, and she's going to have access to armors, helmets, and accessories. Her TMR is a little bit of a weird creature. It's called the White Wolf's Armor. It has HP 424, Defense 9, Spirit 4, Accuracy 8. And the TMR ability restores AP 20x and increases slash resistance 15%. When I'm looking at the TMR here, I do think we're probably not going to be using it. The people who I have talked to that do use Glaciella on JP said that the TMR felt like a poor investment when they fully leveled it, and that most of the time they end up putting Ziza's bells on her or Oldoa's TMR on her. Her mastery ability does increase attack 20% and increases slash resistance 10%. If those of you who are keeping track right now, that does mean her slash resistance is 25% overall. She has 10% piercing resistance, but she is weak to missile and magic. And that's going to be a little bit of a problem when we have Scar coming out in the near future, who's going to be a lightning mage. We also have to consider that we have units like Sid currently, and we also have units like Frederica. But I actually feel like Frederica and Sid are not much to worry about, because with Sid, you have the 25% slashing resistance already on Glaciella, right? And then with Frederica, you can also mitigate the damage that Glaciella is going to get with Frederica by just having Odin equipped, right? Because almost all of Frederica's attacks are single hit attacks. And I know there's people out there who are going to tell me she has attacks that are not single hit. I am aware of that. But I would say most of the time, if you're going up against a Frederica in arena or guild battle, they usually have those attacks turned off. Now, taking a look at her ability board, she does get HP plus 80, attack plus 52, dex 47, agility 2, luck 64, and critical hit rate 13. She also gets another attack plus 20% here, which is going to make her very attack heavy. Her total HP at a base level is at about 2580, which is the 7th highest base HP in the game. And her agility is at 56, and her attack is sitting at about 282. And then you factor in the 2 attack plus 20%, and she becomes this very, I would describe it as a tanky attacking polearm user. It's almost like a Victora that is able to take a couple more hits and is able to deal the same amount of damage essentially without jumps. So that's a really good way that I would think of to describe Glaciella, and I think that's one of her biggest perks besides her abilities. For her passive, she does have Jab Mastery, which is Pierce Attack plus 12, Agility plus 12%. You're going to want to set that. She has Strike Mastery, you're not going to want to set that. Shadow Runner, because she does have that Sub Ninja, for Agility plus 12%, Luck plus 12%. HP up 1 from Monk is going to be HP plus 15%. And then she has Shikuchi, which is going to increase Movement 1, increase Jump plus 1. I have a feeling you're going to be setting Jab Mastery and Shadow Runner. I think Shikuchi could be for very situational maps. However, her attacks have range on them, and I think that having that range is really going to give her sort of, it's going to kind of wean out the need for having to play Shikuchi as a support ability. For her counters, she does have Counter Sting punch counter, and poison barb. Counter Sting is her own special counter, which has a 30% chance to activate, which is really good. Has a two space hit like most piercing counters, and it decreases attack by 39% for 3 turns. So it's going to be very powerful. And I think when you consider she's a unit who's designed to take hits and a unit who is designed to sort of survive that little bit longer, that means we're going to see her counter proc more. That means we're going to see not only the counter proc more because she's the one getting hit more often, but we're also going to see the counter proc more because it's not the 10 to 20% that a lot of the counters are. It's actually 15 to 30%. So it's a little bit of an increased counter percentage there. Her limit burst, Valkyrie drive, it says, damage 170% to 205%. Piercing increases the maximum damage 5,000 to 10,000. I see this being a powerful attack, but I think most of her other abilities are going to be key here. And I think if you can, you're going to want her not to use her limit break, because I think it's going to just be a drain on AP when you see her other abilities. I think you're going to realize that, you know, hey, I want her to use her other abilities, not her limit break. Now, let's get into her primary kit here. We do have Javelin Claw, which is essentially a piercing water shuriken. We do have War Maiden's Acuity, which is going to increase pierce attack 25 and increase defense penetration by 50. This is a really powerful buff. And I think it's worth noting here just how powerful this is. Because not only are you increasing her damage by 25%, right? Because almost all of her attacks are spear-oriented. You're also increasing, or you're also reducing the opponent's defense, essentially, with Glaciella by 50% whenever she's attacking. So keep in mind, she has a high base attack. And on top of that, she's getting defense penetration plus 50. She's going to be very powerful, especially if she gets any of these abilities off on the opponent. It's going to be a bloodbath. I literally can't wait for it. Surefire Burst. This is the attack I'm most passionate about for Glaciella, and that's because I don't have a second assault spear, and you did see that she had 13 critical hit rate innately attached to her, and I want to use a crit Drakeshorn spear with this when I am using her. So she is going to get a crit Drakeshorn on her plus 5 when I am using my Glaciella, assuming I don't pull another Eldzira and not get her. But that'll be 13 plus 28 plus 35% on this hit to critical hit, and that's without figuring in critical hit rate bonuses from other sources or from Espers. So I think this is going to be her most used attack, and I think this is going to be probably her most powerful attack in her arsenal. It does cost 28 AP though, which is very expensive, but it also has a 100% chance to hit. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see how it, like, what we end up seeing Glaciella using, because she also has Leap Strike here, which is an AoE cross 3-strike attack, which is going to move the unit to the target panel and deal 165% AoE damage. Between these two attacks, it's going to be interesting to see how we end up, how she ends up being used in terms of either dealing AoE damage or anything of the sort. Like, I see her having the capability for such destruction, particularly if you have running through snowfields maxed with all of the vision card items that we've been given recently. I see this as being very destructive, and I am super excited for it. Not only that, she does have Triple Piercer, which is a 3-hit water piercing attack. Oh, it's great. It's great. It can't go wrong, right? And you also have to consider that this chains with Miranda's resistance break, right? Because Miranda's resistance break is actually a piercing water attack. So if you wanted to, if you're doing raids in the future, if you ever need a water unit for a raid, I mean, running Miranda with a whole bunch of Glaciellas could potentially be viable. Her sub-jobs are a little interesting. I think we're probably going to just see sub-Valkyrie most often. It essentially just gives her more access and more flexibility for attacks. I think Paralyzing Cross with the attacks on the diagonal is a potential for being very powerful as well, especially in like arena. But again, her one drawback here is notice that she has high AP cost for all of these abilities. This is huge. Her problem is going to be AP. She is going to have Uldoa's TMR. She's going to have Ziza's TMR. She's going to need some capacity to regenerate this AP. In terms of her other sub-jobs, she does have Sub-Ninja and Sub-Monk. I think Sub-Ninja, of course, would be good for Decider of Fate, which I'm a huge fan of. I think Sub-Monk does have its uses. I know we talked about how, you know, Ziza actually subbing, I think it was Lancer and using piercing attacks was a meta and in live PvP. And I could see the same for Sub-Monk, right? I could see in live PvP some shenanigans, particularly with the new Monk unit that's coming out in JP. You never know how viable this would be. I think probably not going to happen, but I think most likely you're either going to see Ninja or you're going to see Sub-Valkyrie for her. Now, in terms of weapons, this is a really big discussion, and so is equipment here. First off, you do have Drakeshorn Spear, which is going to be assault, aim, or critical hit. And this is going to be pretty normal, I would say. I would say most people should probably go for assault. And right now, probably the best spear for her is going to be the Ice Lance +5 assault. Like I said, I don't have another assault spear, so I'm going to be using the Drakeshorn Spear +5 for critical, and I'm going to try and lean in on that critical hit rate with her. But I think the Ice Lance +5 assault is going to be the best. And in the near future, when we do get the Wind Spear, I think the Wind Spear +5 assault is going to be really good for her. Although you might want to pick up some accuracy. I could see the Wind Spear +5. And, well, no. Actually, for Glaciella, you probably don't want the accuracy because she does have the Surefire hit ability. My Victora, I actually run an Ice Lance +5 with aim because I wanted the additional accuracy on her. So I think probably the Wind Spear +5 assault is going to be the best in the future. In terms of equipment, I think the best piece of equipment you could probably put on her is some combination of either Golden Armor +5 or Warrior of Light's armor. And I think there's kind of two reasons for this. One, the Golden Armor +5 is going to make her stronger at doing what she does, right? So what she does is she resists slashing damage, and she can equip high defense pieces of equipment. The Armor of Light from Warrior of Light is going to give her, it's essentially going to close the gap on her weaknesses, right? So that's going to give her magic resistance, and depending on how you built it, spirit or defense as well. And so it's going to make her even a little bit more all-rounder. So I think either of those armors is going to be a good piece of gear. There's definitely a lot of accessories that are coming out in the near future, which are going to be good on Glaciella as well. I know if you go to Altima, the #1 piece of gear they recommend for her is the Water Ring. And I think we also have to consider that we are going to be getting equipment stat stacking here in the near future. And that is probably going to affect the type of gear and type of layout that we're putting on Glaciella. Let's talk about the cards, because there is an important card coming out. Running Through Snowfields, Odin. These are the cards I would expect, right? Running Through Snowfields literally has Glaciella on it. It should be the card that you're running. Titan, though, when Titan comes out, the Titan card actually has Pierce Attack up on it for the individual unit, and then it has Man-Eater, physical damage Man-Eater for the party. So Titan is going to be very viable for Glaciella. And then a lot of people don't know, but in JP, a lot of people are actually running the Behemoth card right now because it gives Pierce Attack resistance to the party. So while this isn't a card for Glaciella, this is a card you might want to be considering maxing out just for the future when we do enter the Pierce meta with Kayn. I think this is going to be really good for everyone in the upcoming future. In terms of Espers, I think Ifrit, Siren are, of course, no-brainers because they're the Pierce Attack up Espers. And then we have Titan, who's going to be coming out, who is also a Pierce Attack Esper. Now, Titan does have Spirit on his board as well, which would help mitigate that sort of magical weakness that Glaciella has. Honestly, though, I think I would go for Siren on her, stack that slash resistance even higher, and really make it so that if I'm running a comp with Glaciella in it, I don't have to be scared of Ruin Stern, and I can just send Glaciella in, no worries, right? Because in my mind, I'm running Glaciella in a composition where I'm going to have 2 Dragoons and Glaciella. So the Dragoons are going to be up in the air, Glaciella is going to be on the ground, and the enemies are going to need something to attack. So I think having that slash attack resistance is going to be very important for Glaciella here in the near future. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you guys did find this video helpful. As always, make sure you leave a comment down in the YouTube section. And, oh, the dogs are starting to bark now. Well, at least they waited until the end of the video. As always, if you have any questions about the game, if you're a new player, come check us out in our Discord, dig.gs/discord. And if you are planning on buying Visior for your Glaciella pulls, make sure you use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins. And I know there's a lot of you who are letting me know right now that the dig.gs/offer is currently out, and they will be refilling that before Glaciella, and I will make sure to tell you guys that probably in one of my Tuesday videos. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.